Speaking of love, don't you love games and don't you love to give
Happy
awards
Hanukkah,
for your
everybody.
favorite games? this week in State of Gaming, we are kicking things off with the Game Awards. This is okay. So correct me if I'm wrong. Game Awards happens like throughout the year a bunch of times, right? I think Jeff Knightley, Jeff
No,
Neely,
just once a time.
just once.
Keely.
Have we not
Yeah,
covered a
he
gaming
does his
award
summer
before?
games,
That's
like
it.
Summer Game
Summer
Fest,
Game
like
Fest.
that has
That's
an award show in it. But the actual Game Awards only
Okay.
happens once a year in December.
That's it. Okay, I'm about to say I feel like I've seen this a lot, but
I'm sifting through all the categories right now. Most of this is, pretty spot on as far as what the nominees are. And I have come to realize that I've played most of these.
nice.
I am surprised at the number of times I'm seeing Cyberpunk show up in these various categories.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it just because you think?
And
it'll
by
be
number of times, I
piss
mean
poor
like more
launch,
than
or?
once.
Or more than
So like it's nominated for best role playing game, and out of the list of the 5 they have here, which are Cyberpunk, Monster Hunter Rise, Scarlet Nexus, Shin Megami Tensei 5, and Tales of Arise, which I'm currently playing through. Easily the worst one, because the game didn't work.
I heard Shin Megami Tensei 5 is really good.
That's what I've heard too. I haven't played any of those in that
Yeah.
franchise though, so like
My
it's
buddy's
kinda lost
playing it
on
right
me.
now, and he says it's fucking awesome.
So I will bring up that noteworthy things here. Sting will perform, which is insane because I didn't even realize he actually had a song from Arcane, which is pretty dope. Simu Liu will be presenting. And evidently, there's supposed to be some game reveals, potentially a Breath of the Wild sequel, Fable, Bioshock 4, World of Warcraft on consoles. There's a footnote in here from
talking about
our
that
man
shit
in the
for
chair. Not if Kotick is still CEO, not for Mike. And then this new Santa Monica game post, God of War, Ragnarok potentially. But the Game of the Year nominees are Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet & Clank, Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. To me, I'm actually really excited to see that there's at least 2 games on here that are like the first of their like not necessarily a franchise, but the first of their name. Whereas like Metroid Dread, Psychonauts, all these other are obviously building off of a kind of a base of a franchise.
I'll give a little bit of leeway to Psychonauts too, though, because how old is the first one and people have been
20 years
That's
old.
it.
yeah, and
2
people have been
decades,
begging
yeah.
and pleading for this game. Like,
Yeah.
there's a whole new generation that doesn't even know about Psychonauts 1 that knows about this game. So I'll give them that. But I am
That's
playing through Deathloop right now also, and that game is legitimately dope.
I heard it was incredible.
That's what I hear.
And I
It's-
just haven't played it.
It's really, really cool. And it's really nice and refreshing to see a studio like Bethesda that everybody knows for their like bread and butter franchises take a big swing at like a brand new IP and just absolutely knock it out of the park.
That's
Mike
awesome.
Whatever just pointed
I
out that
just got
Imagine
ripped
Dragons
apart.
does the theme to Arcane, by the way, which is the second time I've
We're
heard
gonna talk
Imagine
about Arcane.
Dragons brought up today.
That's true. And we're going to talk about both of those instances today.
That's right.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Bro, I'm pretty sure Mahaffey, if you could type in a Russian accent, would have just said, and we all know that Imagine Dragons is awesome, right, bro? Because, yes, we're going to talk about that in the final round. About the
I like Imagine Dragons. They're like the
Sorry,
I'm a
Nickelback
fan.
of Gen
Yes.
Z.
Yes.
But
Yes. Them and, like, Coldplay, they're
all
just
their
lumped
shit
in
sounds
that,
the
like,
same.
you know, if you heard one, you heard them all, but
First of all,
that's okay.
Coldplay is dynamic. You watch your fucking mouth.
I caught myself singing, like mouth singing with a mask on in the store earlier today, some Coldplay, so I can't really knock it. But
Coldplay is dope.
digress.
So they announced the Xbox Series X at a Game Awards a couple years back. They actually showed what it looked like. So they typically have some big stuff at these. I know Ed Boon announced Mortal Kombat 11 at a Game Awards, and that shit was awesome. His announcement was so cool. He was like doing like the best sports game or some shit, and they like did the award, and like I think it was like Forza won or something, and like it started playing like a thing from Forza, and then it like cut out, and then the NetherRealm Studios logo showed up, and then they played that 21 Savage song trailer with Scorpion and Raiden. This shit was awesome.
Wait a minute. I gotta look. When are the Game Awards? On the 9th?
The 9th.
Yeah, next week.
Oh,
I think next Thursday.
I think that was a terrible mistake on their part if they wanted people to watch and pay attention.
What comes out on the 9th?
Halo Infinite.
Oopsies.
If I've got that date right, I think Infinite comes out on the 9th. I've got to get the right tab open here.
We're doing it live.
Yeah, the 9th.
Planned release December 8th. So yeah, nobody's going to pay attention to the Game Awards because they're all going to be wrong because Halo Infinite should sweep every category, but it won't be out in time.
You feel that strongly about a game you haven't played yet?
Come on now. You know it's going to happen.
If the campaign is as good as the multiplayer is, then
yes,
I think I'm
absolutely.
with you because the multiplayer is fucking dope.
The only thing about the multiplayer I haven't liked is how slow the progression is, and the fact that so much of that stuff is
locked behind the battle pass or whatever.
Yeah, it's locked in the paywall.
It feels like Halo though. It feels like Halo, but snappier and faster. And
it feels great. It's the first time I've ever been decent at Halo multiplayer.
There you go.
Nice. Is that a high bar or a low bar?
That's
medium.
For me. That's for me. It's a low bar. For me, it's a high bar. For most other people, it's a really low bar.
There you go. Nice.
Not most other people. I think everybody on this, it would be a high. It would be. We're where you're at.
This is the first time I've ever been able to consistently get headshots with the sniper rifle in any Halo game. Period.
See, I'm coming off of Destiny 2, where like I snipe in Destiny 2, and I'm really excited about getting into Halo because the aim assist is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But the Game Awards, I mean, the Game Awards will be cool. I haven't played really anything this year, unfortunately. I really haven't. Of the Game of the Year nominations, I've only played Dread, my Metroid Dread, and that was even a little bit. I did just buy Rift Apart because it was on sale for Black Friday, because I do love the Ratchet and Clank games. But there's some cool, like, I mean, you know, you have under Best Narrative, you have Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Art design has audio design is Forza Horizon 5, which is incredible. I played that. That's
what I was playing right before the stream started.
It's so good. I mean, that's like, I can't get a Series X. I played it on PC.
Yeah. Game Pass. Baby.
And it's so good. I love it so much.
So what do you guys know about this game in general?
About which one?
The next one, Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker.
Endwalker?
14?
Yeah, it's the next expansion. It comes out tonight, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Early access is tonight.
So
this takes place on the moon.
Yeah. Oh, the moon or just in general moon? I'm not familiar with the Final Fantasy Online. So yeah.
Yeah.
So according to our little sound bites here, yeah, it officially releases on the 7th of December, a day that we should never forget. But again, I haven't played any of the Final Fantasy Online. So as far as Endwalker can do, beginning Walker or slow Walker, I have no clue.
I played some of it. It just kind of fell into the same category as every other MMO for me. Like, it had my attention for a little bit, and I think a little bit more because it was Final Fantasy.
Yeah, gotcha.
But I eventually, fetch quest after fetch quest for some reason, it feels different when it's an MMO than it does.
It really does, because there's really like no forward progression. It doesn't feel like there's much forward progression, and it's very grindy. But I played a lot of Final Fantasy 14. It's blown up over the last year specifically because of all the shit that's going down at Activision. People are like in droves leaving World of Warcraft and going to Final Fantasy 14.
Well, now they're all heading back because the Seasons of Mastery.
Right, now they're all coming because, Season of Mastery and then 9.2 coming out soon. But Final Fantasy 14, Endwalker looks really cool. They're adding 2 new classes, the Sage and the Reaper. Sage is like a ranged healer. and then the Reaper is another melee DPS class with a little bit of a caster thing, kind of like what they did with Red Mage when Red Mage came out. It continues the story. It like I said, it takes place on the moon. It's the next Final Fantasy 14 expansion. People are super excited about it. I watched the trailers for it and I was like, this looks fucking cool. And every single time I subscribe to Final Fantasy, I subscribe for a month. I log in once and I'm like, hey, this is cool. And then I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to do and I don't have anybody to play with. So I end up logging out and then not playing it.
So the expansions are paywalled though, right? Like you have to pay for that. Because the one thing I do have to say that I thought was really cool about Final Fantasy 14 at least is, I think by the time I started playing was it Shadow Realm? Is that something?
Shadowbringers.
That was already out when I first started playing. So if I didn't mind, which me and all the folks I was playing with didn't care, save for like one person, that we didn't have access to that content. There's like 1,000 hours worth of gameplay that you get just for free.
Yeah. You get like all of A Realm Reborn. I think up to Heaven's Ward.
Yeah,
you get it for free. Yeah.
Which is astounding that they did that because none of the other ones do that. And like I got really into New World for a while, but even that fizzled out just because I'm close to endgame and there's legitimately nothing to do, and the game's broken. Go figure. Amazon's first game would be broken. I mean,
yeah,
it's their first effort, so I can't be too upset. It was $40 and there's no subscription model, which I also support. Final Fantasy 14 was.
They should bring in Bobby Kotick to fix it.
That's what I'm saying. He's gonna get outed at some he's gonna get the boot at some point, and I guarantee he ends up at Amazon Games.
Speaking of Bobby
Kotick, don't we have something to talk about with Activision again?
So coming right up, by the way, I apologize. I just realized you guys can't see the screen. I will remedy that here shortly. But
okay.
On the screen, we got Nintendo now going against Blizzard. So this is from a Fanbyte, an email sent by Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser. Yeah, that's really his name. Sent on Friday, November 19th, addresses the Activision-Blizzard report. The email went out to all levels of Nintendo of America, including internal development houses like Retro Studios and the newly acquired Next Level Games. Quote, along with all of you, I've been following the latest developments with Activision Blizzard and the ongoing reports of sexual harassment and toxicity at the company, Bowser says. I find these accounts distressing and disturbing. They run counter to my values as well as Nintendo's beliefs, values, and policies. Bowser goes on in the letter to kind of explain that Nintendo's committed to having an open and inclusive workplace where all are welcome. Yeah, no shit. I would hope that's where we would go with that. He says that he has been in contact with Activision and they have taken action and are assessing others. There's no clarity, I guess, in the email what the action is. It could just be like, why do you do that? That's an action. Like, oh, man, we were going to bring it to the Switch and now we can't. But in closing, he says every company in the industry must create an environment where everyone is respected and treated as equals and where all understand the consequences of not doing so. So, yeah, I feel like when I heard this break and we all kind of talked about it internally, I was like, yeah, a little bit too late, kind of. It's like, yeah, no shit. You should probably have, I don't know, addressed this sooner, where you been. Everybody else is kind of addressing it already, and I think the minute like Xbox came out and then made like a big splash, like, "Hey, we don't support this," then all of a sudden it was like, "Yeah, Nintendo's."
Phil Spencer pretty much said, "Fuck Activision." Yeah. All my homies hate Activision.
Pretty much, and I'm sure.
I'm trying to find a company that's doubling down on supporting Activision right now. Like, I want to find like all of these companies are coming out and saying like this is terrible and all that stuff, but like I want a company to come out and be like,
"There you go."
No. Who are their board members? What companies do their board members work at?
This is how we Google on live TV. What a director!
Because that's the thing. Like,
how funny is it that the head of Nintendo, his name is Bowser?
That is the best.
You think that's a little on the nose?
I mean, let's see. We got Revita Bowers, Robert Cordy, Hendrik Hartong II, Brian Kelly. Bobby Bitch Boy, Barry Meyer, Peter Nolan. Dawn Ostroff. Trying to see if there's any.
Are there any outside of the company folks on their board?
Not that I'm seeing. Which would make a total sense. There are some people like she is also a member. Like some people like are board members of other things like the Philharmonic or they've served on like Walt Disney's board and things like that. It's like these are obviously not like slouches by any means,
Right.
but still, if all their resumes are this long, what happened? Like, I mean, is it just like they meet once a year, and then just like
once a quarter?
Yes.
Once a quarter. How much money has WoW made us? All right, we'll see you guys in 3 months.
What's this suite
See you
called?
later.
The Cosby Suite. Oh, we should change it to Dahmer Suite next year. Like
What? Oh, Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer, not
Yeah.
Dom with an ER at the end. I'm not a rapist.
Tom, you got your own suite.
yeah, and I wasn't saying Dom her either because that's equally as bad.
No.
Hey, did you know if you're on the ourcommitments.activisionblizzard.com, the 2020 ESG report, there are 3 primary commitments: championing our people, advancing more diverse and inclusive communities, and protecting the planet. So they might be 1 for 3.
I don't even think they're 1 for 3.
Which one did you think they got?
Protecting the planet, maybe.
Yeah,
I think the planet
They,
fish.
they shouldn't get the first 2.
Earth, wind,
No,
water,
they have
heart.
a huge bronze statue of an orc out front of Blizzard, and they cleaned it with fire this week.
I mean, did they use
So,
natural
the
gas?
answer to your question, the answer to your question is who's doubling down on Activision Blizzard? Activision
people.
Blizzard.
Activision Blizzard
Activision
is. Yeah.